Hi, welcome. It's Jasmine. Welcome to Attentive Reviews. So, today we're doing something a little different. So, we're not going to talk about a TV show, we're not going to just talk about a movie. We are talking about a challenge that my significant other gave me because he is also an extreme movie buff like I am, and we love films, is what we bond over. And he knows that there's a lot of movies I have never seen or I've been afraid to start watching for various reasons. Either because I don't know what it is, because it's very old, I feel like it's too long, or I'm just scared of the idea of the movie. So I thought I'd just tell you the list of films and tell you how far I got. And please, if you want to laugh at me, please go ahead, because some of them I feel like I don't know why I didn't watch them or why I haven't. So bear with me, I have my phone here because that's where my list is. So we have Casablanca, A Streetcar Named Desire, Once Upon a Time in the West, My Fair Lady, Sunset Boulevard, Roma, The Stranger, What Lies Beneath, The Third Man, Deathstalker 2, that one I don't even know if I want to talk about, Sorry to Bother You, and I believe, yeah, that's it. So, oh, and Vertigo. Oh my goodness. How did Vertigo not get on my list? Oh, there it is. I thought I deleted it. And Vertigo. So, let's start with the ones I have watched. I have watched Vertigo was the very first one I watched. Then I watched A Streetcar Named Desire. Once Upon a Time in the West was the last one I've watched. And the plan is to either watch Casablanca or The Third Man today. My significant other really wants me to watch Casablanca and let him know how it is. So I thought I'd just give a little snippet on like my taste on the three I've watched so far, and if I recommend it to other people, and then just let you know how we're looking going forward. I think also the one on my list, I think I added because he mentioned it once, but I don't think it was something he challenged me to. But it's okay. We're fine. So, first one is Vertigo. This is an Alfred Hitchcock film. I believe it came out in the 1950s or the 1960s. This one is not in black and white, it's in a color. And the color, oh my goodness, I'm happy they put it in color because color is a big part of the story. It pretty much follows a detective who is retired from the force for reasons I can't explain to you because that is part of the plot that I do not want to spoil. And he's given a job to follow this woman and just see what her every day to day actions are. And that just starts him on a journey that he cannot get off of. He cannot leave it. He's entangled in this. And it's just the story of these two and all the events that surround these two. When I tell you, it did have a slow start for me, but after like 30, 45 minutes in, I was like, oh, this is where we're going. I'm so intel with the story. I want to know more. I want to know. Like, you learn things with him. You're like, oh, what does this mean? Where is this going? I just need to understand, is this like part of something bigger or is it just one small situation that's happening? Now you're probably like, what are you talking about? I'm trying not to spoil this film because if I spoil it, you might not want to watch it. Because if I accidentally spoil something, it ruins like 50% of the movie. So I'm trying to avoid that. But use of color, how he does his set designs and each scene is perfect. It makes me want to go to San Francisco. Yes, the movie takes place in San Francisco. And man, is that city a character in herself. Himself? I don't know which pronoun people use for San Francisco. We'll just say their selves. Save myself the problem and the trouble of trying to figure that out. But it was very beautiful. It was a thriller. It was a mystery, and I love mystery and thrillers, which is probably why this was the first one was recommended to me to watch. I'm very happy that I did. I watched it on Amazon Prime. I don't know if it's still on there, but I know you can rent it there, and I maybe Google Play or somewhere else. I think it's on YouTube as well for you to rent or buy it. I would highly recommend Vertigo. It makes me want to watch some of the other Alfred Hitchcock films I've been kind of scared to watch, or I don't know why I've never seen it, but I understand what happened. Like Psycho. I understand what happens in Psycho, but I've only seen like 15 to 20 minutes of that movie over the years in various different spots. So that's kind of embarrassing. I need to watch that. So I will let you guys know when that happens. So that one, first one, definitely recommend it. Second one I watched was A Streetcar Named Desire. Now this movie, I feel like I don't want to say very emotional, but I'm very sensitive to certain topics and subject matter to the point where I'm like, I don't want to ever watch this again, but I'm happy I watched it. This movie stars Marlon Brando, who plays one of the main characters in the movie, and then I forgot the actress's name, but she plays Scarlett O'Hara in Gone with the Wind. But this is years later. Like, she's definitely looked like she's been in several films, and you're supposed to feel like she's older, but she's playing off that she's younger because, as a lot of women know, you don't want people talking about your age. You don't want people to know how old you are because then you feel weird. Especially once you get past a certain age, you just feel like, no. How old do you know? I don't want to answer that question. It's weird. Um, and then there is another character who's the actress name I do not remember, but she plays this woman's sister. So, woman who I'm gonna call her Scarlett. I don't. That's not her name, but that's the only way I remember it. The actress that plays Scarlett O'Hara. She goes to visit her sister and Marlon Brando's character, Marlon Brando. Oh my goodness, I'm trying not to mess up these people's names. In New Orleans, and this is a black and white film. You get to see New Orleans in a different light, in a different time. Back when, like, actually, no, they still have streetcars. Forget what I'm saying. I've never been to New Orleans. I only know so little. I've only know what I've seen from TV shows and movies, and it makes me want to go there more. But pretty much, it's just the dynamic between these three people, and they're all living in one small apartment. So from everyone who knows one person a pet, or two people in a pet, or just two people in general, that's a lot when you're around each other day in and day out. But you add a third person or another third living thing, and things just get a little wacky. Let's go with that term. So this is just the dynamics of these three trying to get along in this space. And they don't know how long they're going to be together. They're not really sure if they want to be around each other, they like each other. There's different things that happen. And I will say I'm happy that I did watch this film. It took me a minute to get through it because at some points it gets into very strong situational things and ideas and I just said situations. It gets into, I'm trying to find the word. It gets into very strong themes and ideas and situations that might be triggering to some people. So I want to give a trigger warning and a safety warning to anyone who wants to watch this film. If you've been through traumatic situations with family members or significant others where there might be instances of fights or death or abuse or trauma or anything like that, those ideas do come up in the film. I don't want to tell you how they come up in the film or why or when they happen, but just letting you know if you are very sensitive to those topics or you know someone who's been involved or has dealt with those things, this movie might not set well with you. It makes me do want to read the play that this is based on. It's a play done by Tennessee Williams, who a lot of you may know.
Hi, everyone. Sorry about that. Outfit change, hair change, everything. So my camera decided to cut out before I continued with my telling of Streetcar Named Desire, which is based off a play by Tennessee Williams. I think I read it. I read some of his work in high school, but I've never read that one. I'm debating if I want to read it or not. But we're going to move on to our third film. Third one I watched was Once Upon a Time in the West. Came out in the 60s, about almost 3 hours long. It's 5 minutes away from being 3 hours. And it's a Western, of course, is in the title. So it stars some people that you may or may not recognize. It's totally fine, because I only recognized 2 people. So we're going to start off with Claudia Cardinale. I think that's how you pronounce her name. She plays the woman that you see on the poster. Her name, I believe, is Jill in the movie, if I remember correctly. You have Charles Bronson, who is only known as the nickname that he's given the movie, which is Harmonica. I feel like that nickname comes across very clearly. Henry Fonda, who plays Frank, who, if I remember correctly, is one of the opposing sides to the characters that we're following throughout this movie. And then you have Jason Robards, who plays Cayenne. And yes, his name sounds like the seasoning, but it's not spelled like it. But oh my goodness, I did giggle when I heard that. I'm like, wait, did I hear that correctly? Is his name Cayenne? Okay, that's fine. So, Westerns are not my cup of tea. I've only seen a handful, maybe 3 Westerns, and as I've learned, they're all remakes of original Westerns that came out in the 50s, 60s, and maybe 70s. I don't know when they stopped making Westerns. Thought that was my doorbell. So, my boyfriend definitely suggested this one because he knows I don't really like Westerns, but he loves this movie because of the visuals. I will say some of the shots with the camera are very done. Like, you can definitely tell they either went on location or they built these sets from the ground up, because it's like houses, buildings, you see everything, train tracks, the whole scenery, wide shots. Very beautiful wide shots. I'll give it that. But it was not one of my favorites. Especially, I don't know what it is with Westerns. I just don't like the feel. Like, I was in the movie, and I did watch all the way through, and I did enjoy it. It just wasn't my favorite out of the 4 I've watched so far. Yeah, there was mild to extreme sexism, which I guess has to go with the times of when Westerns take place, which is the 1800s, most likely. And the times of the 60s, where women were still slowly trying to get their rights and not have to be stuck in the house. So, old Hollywood. So I would recommend that if you like Westerns. For some reason, I kept thinking this was the one with Clint Eastwood. That is definitely not what it was. For some reason in my brain, they all start blurring together, but they're all different. But I highly recommend if you like mild mystery, violence, of course, but it's not like gory violence, it's just straightforward violence. And just following along these like characters as they're going through this journey. We're mostly following Harmonica. This is pretty much his movie. Everyone else is there and they all interact, but this is mostly his movie. So, yeah. You don't know that right away, but you get it like halfway through. You're like, oh, this might as well just be him. So I recommend it if you like Westerns, if you like following a story, if you like beautiful sceneries. But I felt like it started off slow for me. Like, it dragged a little bit in some spots, and I was just like, alright, I get it. Alright, cool. I think it was like 2 scenes I actually enjoyed, and I don't want to say what they are because I don't want to spoil it for you guys. It's for you. It is definitely rated R, so if you are not allowed to watch rated R movies yet, don't watch it by yourself. Make sure your parents are okay with it. Alright, so our last film is Casablanca. Comes out in the 40s, didn't realize that, and it actually makes sense with the times that it takes place in the movie. So pretty much we are in Casablanca, Morocco, which I found out is a real place. I thought they made that up, but I was wrong. And pretty much they're not on location. They made a set, but pretty much you're following this American who's played by Humphrey Bogart. Everyone knows who Humphrey Bogart is. As he owns this bar / restaurant in Casablanca that's very well known. I think his name is Rick in the movie, actually. Okay, I thought I turned off. And pretty much it's just talking about his interaction with everything that's happening within the course of like a couple of days. And pretty much, as I feel like everyone kind of knows, is him coming back in touch with someone he remembers from his past. And how that whole debacle is just something else. There are other characters. You have Claude Rains, who plays one of the cops. I think he's a captain or a lieutenant. I'm not 100% sure what his title was, but he's like the head police officer. And they have like a little friendship back and forth where they just talk to each other. He tries to crack jokes or whatever. And then you have the 2 other characters that come in. The woman that's on the poster is one of the characters. And the other one is, I believe, her husband. Yes. That may or may not be a spoiler, but it's fine. But yeah, it's pretty much, this is World War II times. And this is when Germany was trying to occupy several countries and make them all one German state. So Morocco, if I remember correctly, was French owned. And I put owned in quotations because no one owns countries like that. You colonize them and then invade them, but that's a whole other topic for a whole nother day. But the movie was really good. It's all in black and white. There is no color. There's only one person of color in the movie, and he plays the piano man. I don't even remember what his name is. I don't even think they give him a lot of time to even figure out who he is, but that's a whole nother conversation as well. But pretty much it's just Rick trying to secure his place and like keep his employees safe, his business safe, and trying not to get in the nose of the political reign of everything. And it's crazy because the whole topic is about immigration, migration, refugees, and trying to flee danger of invading countries, which is insane that was a topic that they were handling in the 40s. But once again, this was happening around World War II time. I think this movie came out a couple of years before either the war ended or before we got involved. So I did like it. I definitely liked it better than the last one I just discussed, but it was not my favorite. But I do recommend it. It is I think, isn't it on the top 100 list? I'm not 100% sure. But I know my boyfriend loves it. My stepdad really loves it. You keep seeing it in every other movie. People quote it a lot. There are a lot of quotable lines. I might put up a picture of 2 of them that everyone should know. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I do recommend it. I hope everyone likes it. And yeah, so here is my list of out of the 4, which ones are my best. First one starting with Vertigo. Then you have Casablanca. Then you have Once Upon a Time in the West and Streetcar Named Desire. Sorry, Streetcar Named Desire. You were an enticing film, but you made me super uncomfortable, and it's just I don't know if I can do all that. So, excuse me. So that's my challenge list. That's as far as I got. I have many more to go. That will be a whole nother video at some point. I don't know when that's going to happen because I do want to watch 4 at a time before I make a video so they don't get too long. Thank you for sticking through this. I hope you guys learned a lot. I hope I've gotten you guys enticed to watch these movies. Do let me know if you've seen them, if you like them, which ones you're actually intrigued about. And like, share, subscribe, please. Comment below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.